Today we're going to be comparing simple and compound interest. So we're going to start with just a little investigation to see what the difference is. And our question here says Alice invests $1,000 in an account that earns 2% per year. How much money will she have at the end of 5 years? Now, when we did simple interest 2 days ago, all of those questions would have said 2% per year simple interest. And when we did compound interest yesterday, it would have said 2% per year compounded, and then most of our questions were compounded annually. So it doesn't say simple, it doesn't say compound, and that's because we're going to do it 2 different ways and see which way gives us more money. So I am going to start by just highlighting the important information here. She is investing $1,000. That is her principal or starting amount. She is earning 2% per year in interest, and she is investing her money for 5 years. So rather than use a table to model what this looks like, we're going to try using the formulas that we've learned over the past 2 days. So the formula for simple interest is A, final amount, equals P, your principal or your starting amount, times 1 plus I times N. The compound interest formula is A equals P times 1 plus I to the power of N. So the thing that's different in the formulas is the N. So in simple interest, we are multiplying by N, and in compound interest, the N is actually an exponent. But it's all the same letters and very similar formulas. So I'm going to try this question as a simple interest question. I'm going to start by listing A, P, I, and N at the side, and I didn't give myself a lot of room, so I'm going to try to write fairly small. I left a little extra room for that I, because I have to do a calculation. So A, my final amount, I don't know. But P, the starting amount, the principal, that is $1,000 to begin with. My interest rate is 2%. You cannot put a percent in. You have to convert it. So we're going to do 2 divided by 100. Percent means per 100. So 2 divided by 100 is 0.02. And then N is our number of years, which is 5. So I'm going to take my formula, A equals P times 1 plus IN. That's the simple interest formula. And I'm going to sub everything in. So P is 100. Nope, it's 1,000. I missed a 0 on that. And then times 1, just the number 1, plus I, that is 0.02. times N, which is 5. So BEDMAS, order of operations, says you need to do your brackets first. So I am going to start inside that bracket. I have addition and multiplication, so I'm going to start with the multiplication. So 0.02, which is still in my calculator, times 5 is 0.1. Now 1 plus 0.1, if I finish off the bracket, is 1.1. I don't need a calculator for that, but if you do, then please add on 1. There we go, we got 1.1. And then I'm going to finish off this calculation by multiplying 1,000 times 1.1. And I get $1,100. So if she invests it and gets simple interest, she will have $1,100. Now we are going to do the same question, but this time using compound interest. Now I'm not going to list A, P, I, and N again because they're actually the same numbers, right? The starting amount, the principal is still $1,000. The interest rate divided by 100 is still 0.02, and N, the number of years, is still 5. That hasn't changed. So I'm not going to write it down. I'm just going to write the formula. A equals P times 1 plus I in a bracket to the power of N. If you are doing this in Google Forms, you have to write exponents using the caret so that I can tell that it's an exponent. Because unfortunately you can't make a superscript, that's what that's called, in Google Forms. So I'm going to sub my numbers in. I don't know the final amount, but I do know the starting amount is 1,000 times 1 plus I, that's 0.02. And then the thing that's different between the simple and the compound is the n, right? That this one's an exponent, this one's multiplication, this one's in the bracket, that one is not, right? So this is to the power of 5 outside of the bracket. So when I'm calculating, BEDMAS says you start with brackets. So I'm going to do 1 plus 0.02, which is 1.02. And then that is to the power of 5. So up next, you should do exponents. So 1.02, I'm going to use my exponent button. So to the power of 5 equals, I do not want to write that down. So I'm actually going to jump ahead and also do the multiplication. So I'm going to multiply it by 1,000. And I get $1,104.08. Now I am going to peek at the next number. It's a 0, so that means we don't do anything. We leave the number the same. So it's $1,104.08. And because I rounded, I'm going to put a little dot, and then I need a little sentence that says she will have $1,104.08. So it was the same original investment, the same amount of time, and the same interest rate, but we didn't end up with the same amount of money. So there is a part underneath that asks us to figure out how much interest did she earn. So I know what her original investment was. She originally put in $1,000. And I know how much money she has at the end. She has $1,100. So if I want to know how much interest she earned, I would take the starting amount. Nope. I would take the ending amount minus the starting amount. So I'm going to take that $1,100 and take away her original $1,000, which means she got $100 in interest on her simple interest account. If I do the same thing with the compound interest, if I take her final amount, which is the $1,104.08, and I take away her original investment of $1,000, I get that she made $104.08. So looking at this, it's not a huge difference, but she made more money, more interest when it was compound interest. So it said, which type of interest will earn Alice the most money? Compound interest. Now our last question really is why. So why does that type of interest earn more money? So why did compound interest get her more than simple interest? So simple interest, you only earn interest on your original investment. So anytime in that 5 years that she gets interest, she only ever earns interest on her $1,000. But with compound interest, when she gets interest on her current balance. So whatever is currently in her account. So she earns interest in the first year on her original amount, but on the next year, it's on the original amount plus the interest she's already earned. So when you're doing compound interest, you are earning interest on top of your interest, right? So you're making money off of the interest that you've earned. Whereas with simple interest, you're only ever making money off of that original investment. So why does that type of interest earn more money? I'm going to say with compound interest, you earn interest on your interest. I'm going to actually change that. I'm going to say you earn interest on the original investment and your interest. Whereas simple, just the original amount. And that's the difference between simple and compound interest. Compound interest will earn you a little bit more money, but it's a little harder to calculate. We'll try an example in the next video.